An engineer builds a good dam which can sustain for 100 years. But the impact of dam and human civilization, displacement of people, displacement of environment, and so many things happen which cannot be recovered.
Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in extending a warm welcome to Professor Kalkar.
Very good noon. Distinguished guests, esteemed colleagues, education leaders, it's an honor to stand before you today in the grand ballroom hall to deliberate on the topic that doesn't just define the future of our student, but the trajectory of our nation. Reimagining higher education for Viksit Bharat. I'm thankful to Hemant Sahalji, founder, CEO of Digi. He was telling in some shairi words, the same one line I'll also repeat, Din badal jayenge tum milo to sahi. So it's an August gathering. I represent one of the largest public state university and also largest networking body of business schools in India, that is Association of Indian Management Schools. Our past president, Upinder Dhar sir, is also there, and our regional chapter members. When we speak about Viksit Bharat, the developed India, we are not just talking about economic matrix, infrastructure, or GDP number. We are talking about building a knowledge superpower. And a bedrock of knowledge superpower, it's an education ecosystem. However, to build the future, we must critically evaluate how we are preparing the youth for today. Consider the reality. India currently boasts one of the largest higher education systems in the world with over 1,173 universities and more than 43 million students enrolled. The scale of our responsibility is unmatched anywhere else on the globe. Learning and unlearning, the traditional framework of our education was designed for the era of information scarcity. Today we live in an era of information abundance, powered by artificial intelligence, rapid digitalization, and shifting global dynamics. Therefore, our first major hurdle isn't teaching new concepts, but the art of unlearning. What we do to unlearn, we must unlearn the rigid, siloed approach to discipline. The future does not belong strictly to the pure coder or a pure marketer. It belongs to the multidisciplinary thinker who can bridge the technology with human empathy. We must unlearn rote memorization, memory-based evaluation as an obsolete thing. In the age of answers are click away, we must shift towards skill-based problem-solving mastery. What we need to learn, we need to teach resilience, critical thinking, global adaptability, and a deep-rooted sense of ethical leadership. Learning in Viksit Bharat must continue, flexible and lifelong. Why this unlearning is urgent? National surveys on employability consistently shows that while our graduation number is soaring, a significant portion of our engineering and management graduate required immediate upskilling to be in the industry ready. We must close the gap between holding degree position and employability skills. I think practical pillar we need to create. So how we practically build the future? I propose 3 essential pillars for the institutions. The first is industry-academia interlocking. The wall between theoretical knowledge and industry execution must be completely crumbled. The curricula need to evolve at the speed of market disruption, embedding real-world projects, internship, and a research into the core learning experience. 2 models we have to focus, which has started initially through the initiatives of University Grants Commission and also AICT, that is Apprenticeship Embedded Degree Program. Pilot project has been enrolled since last 25-26 academic year in autonomous institute and public state universities. But I think this needs to be more focused, and internship has to be a very serious matter. Today, internship is only a paper. You apply online to some company and then you get a certificate. It's not real exposure. Inclusivity and technology access. Our higher education must become democratized. India's gross enrollment ratio in higher education currently hovers around 28 to 29%. Under the national education policy, We have set an ambitious but not negotiable target of 50% by 2035, just 9 years from now. Leveraging digital framework allows us to take the world-class education beyond metro cities into the heart of India's Tier 2 and Tier 3 cities and rural landscape. Fostering an entrepreneurial mindset, Stand-up India, Startup India, we must translation our institution from producing mere job seekers to nurturing job creators. India has grown to become third largest startup ecosystem globally with over 1 lakh recognized startup. Innovation, incubation, and intellectual property creation should be actively celebrated on campus. The role of educator is of change makers. Before I start wondering, I think delivering education without values and ethics need to be reviewed. We are creating a lot of cyber expert, IT expert without giving them values and ethical best, and that is creating a lot of issues and challenges for us. We are in an era of outcome-based education, where the outcome is not being verified, that what happens when the student completes its graduation. Teaching load is more discussed among academicians. Whenever we have meetings with ministry or in an education era, we always speak about what is the teaching load. But I think we have to shift that mindset and create a learning load. And for that, we have to revisit, reimagine, and review. Our university song says that Jnana Bano Karmashila Karma Jnanavan. Unless you put your knowledge into practice, knowledge into real world practice, it will not suffice the purpose of higher education. So the teacher and the education fraternity should not think that my way is highway, because what we are teaching in classroom is what we have learned in our graduation and post-graduation days. Degree must be added with skill. Degree without skill become obsolete. One example, we only discuss about transdisciplinary, multidisciplinary, but I think we need, for an example, a civil engineer. A civil engineer has more competency in cement, steel, building, and infrastructure creation. But I think if we get an exposure to human psychology, if we get exposure to the sociology subject, ecology subject, environmental impact subject, and the legal impact subject, an engineer builds a good dam which can sustain for 100 years. But the impact of dam and human civilization, displacement of people, displacement of environment, and so many things happen which cannot be recovered. So sustainable practice, thought process has to be created. The graduates which we are creating today in our higher education institute are going to be a part of global workforce by 2030, maybe if they are joined in 2026. So we don't know how the world will work, how we'll travel from one place to another place, how we'll have a communication with each other today with the digital era and computer and IT and so many technological things are there. So these students which we are creating, sending into the world market or employability market are going to be there for next 30 years. They are going to be employable or they will employ someone for next 30 years, 2040. So we have to make students understand that the ability to unlearn and ability to relearn, there may not be the skills which will be continuing for next 30, 40 years. So this kind of mindset has to be nurtured in academic institute. The two major skills which I think that we must teach our student is the problem-solving skills and not the repetitive skills which memory-based skills, or the learning skills, unlearning and relearning skills. That kind of mindset is required, and the team work, because normally with digital era, I think the physical communication and working with team has become rare. To my fellow academic educators in this room, this transformation starts with us. We cannot demand our student to be agile if our institution remain bureaucratic and rigid. Yesterday we were discussing somewhere, can our people who are in technology sphere go to the industry for a few months and come back and teach? Because those things which we are teaching in classroom, we may not be knowing how it is implemented in the industry. A same example which is given today morning, that banking is now only at the back end. Front end is only technology which happens. And we have come to the digital currency today. Nobody goes to withdraw and pay the cash in the physical mode. We must empower our faculty to upgrade our teaching methodologies and view ourselves not just as a custodians of degrees, but as an architect of character and capability. Every lecture we deliver, every curriculum we design must answer one question: does this empower a citizen of developed India? Degree will have an expiry date because professional skills are changing rapidly. So every time you have to revisit your institution for unlearning and relearning. So my friends, the countdown to a fully developed India has already begun. With over 65% of our population under the age of 35, India holds the largest working age population in the world. This is our greatest demographic dividend, and it is a time of window for an opportunity for all of us. Let us commit today to breaking old modes. Let us embrace the discomfort of unlearning so we can master the art of reimagining. Together, let us build an education ecosystem that does not just adapt the future, but actively shapes it in a proper way. So we have to really think the nomenclature of the degree. Now in engineering, we have BE, and in the bracket, there are 40 plus degrees. In management also, there is bracket, there are hundreds of degrees, and students are getting confused. At the end of the day, what they deliver to the real world is the most important thing. So we have to really revisit and create cafeteria approach where student can pick up his career and the degrees and skills are backed up. I'm sure that the student who are coming out of a profession may not get a permanent employability or permanent job for next 25 to 30 years. He may have to take a break in between his career, come back to the higher education institute, revisit, upskill himself in case he want to continue in that profession. In this way, we have to think that our whole focus when the student join an academic program is on examination, evaluation, getting grades. I think that should become secondary, and we should more focus on the development of skills, applicable skills, workable skill, demonstrable skill for our student. Thank you for your patient listening. Thank to Digii100x, Hemanji for the invite. It's exactly 2 minutes less to 15 minutes as per my schedule. If I have any 1 or 2 questions, I'll take. Otherwise, thank you very much.